Talk about your affairs. Listen carefully because this is very important. Say as little as possible about them and only with those who encourage and inspire you. Guys and girls, how are you? I hope you're doing very, very well. And today, I want to share something from Florence with you. I was going through some of my files here and I opened Florence's The Secret Door to Success. And I saw that I've already shared several chapters, but I was missing this one, which is really good. So I'm going to read it to you. It's the second to last one. It's called Rivers in the Desert. It's really good. Listen to what they say. It starts with Isaiah. It says, "Behold, I will do a new thing. Now it will spring forth. Will you not know it? I will make a way in the wilderness and rivers in the desert." Isaiah 43:19. In Isaiah chapter 43, there are many wonderful statements that show the irresistible power of the supreme intelligence that comes to the rescue, man in times of trouble. No matter how impossible the situation may seem, infinite intelligence knows the way out. Working with the power of God, man becomes unconditional and absolute. Let us become aware of this hidden power that we can call upon at any time. Make contact with infinite intelligence, the God within, and all appearance of evil evaporates because it comes from the vain imaginations of man. In my question and answer class, they ask me, how do you make a conscious contract with this invisible power? I answer, by your word. By your word you are justified. You are justified. The centurion said to Jesus Christ, say the word, Master, and my servant will be healed. For those of you who've seen The Chosen or who know the Bible story from movies or TV series, in The Chosen, for example, there was a centurion, a man from the Roman army, who watched over Matthew. And this man felt affection both for Matthew and for the teachings of Jesus, and he believed in him, you know? So, right now he's referring to this, right? He says, the centurion said to Jesus Christ, say the word, Master, and my servant will be healed. I mean, the centurion trusted in the word of Jesus that the moment Jesus didn't have to be there. He didn't have to go see the servant because this Roman had a servant who was like his son. Well, in the series, that's how they show it, that he was like his son out of wedlock and he was sick. So the centurion says to him, hey, you don't need to go. I trust and I know that by your word alone, he will be healed. That part of the series is great. Anyone who watched will know what I mean. So it says, everyone who calls on the name of the Lord will be delivered. Pay attention to the word call on. You are calling on the Lord or on the law when you make an affirmation of truth. As I always say, take an affirmation that clicks, that is, one that gives you a sense of security. People are enslaved by ideas of lack of love, lack of money, lack of companionship, lack of health, and so on. They are enslaved by ideas of interference and incompleteness. Incompleteness. They are asleep in the Adamic dream. Adam, in parentheses, generic man. He ate from Maya, the tree of illusion, and saw two powers, good and evil. The mission of Christ was to awaken people to the truth of a single power, which is God. Awaken you who sleep. If you lack something good, you are still asleep to your own good. How does one awaken from the Adamic dream of opposites? After having slept deeply in the thought of the race for hundreds of years, Jesus Christ said, when two agree, it shall be done. That is the law of agreement. It is almost impossible to clearly see your own good by yourself. That's where a healer, a practitioner, or a friend is needed. Many successful men say they have succeeded because their wives believed in them. Here, for example, in Napoleon Hill's book, I think it's in The Mystery of Sex Transmutation that he talks about this. He says, "There's nothing like the right woman, or put it this way, the right man who pushes and drives their partner, whether it's the woman or the man." And Florence is saying it here too. She says, "Many successful men say they have succeeded because their wives believed in them." I will quote from a current newspaper the tribute of Walter P. Chrysler to his wife. He says, "Nothing," he once said, "has given me more satisfaction in life than the way my wife had faith in me from the very beginning." Through all these years, Chrysler wrote about her, "It seemed to me that I couldn't make anyone understand that I was ambitious except Adela. I could tell her and she understood. I think I even dared to tell her that I intended to become a master mechanic someday." She always supported his ambitions. Talk about your own affairs and listen closely. This is very important. Talk about your own matters as little as possible and only with those you like. They give you encouragement and inspiration. The world is full of wet blankets, people who tell you it can't be done and that you're aiming too high. When people sit in meetings and truth services, often a word or an idea will open a path in the wilderness. Of course, the Bible is talking about states of consciousness, just like Neville. You are in a wilderness. When you are out of harmony, when you are angry, when you are resentful, fearful, or indecisive, indecision is the cause of a lot of ill health because of not being able to make up your mind. One day, when he was on a bus, a woman stopped it and asked the conductor about her destination. Okay, the conductor at that time was the man who checked your tickets for your trip. He told her, but she was undecided. She started to get on, got off, and got back on, and the conductor went up to her and said, "Ma'am, make up your mind." That's how it is with so many people. Ladies and gentlemen, make up your minds. The intuitive person is never indecisive. He receives his clues and hunches and moves forward bravely, knowing that he is on the magical path. In truth, we always ask for definite clues about what to do, and you will always receive one if you ask. Sometimes it comes as an intuition, sometimes from the outside. One of my students, named Ada, was walking down the street, unsure whether to go to a certain place or not, and she asked for a clue. Two women were walking in front of her. One turned to the other and said, "Why don't you go, Ada?" The woman's name was also Ada, and my friend took it as a definite clue and continued toward her destination, and the result was very successful. We truly lead magical lives, guided and provided for at every step if we have ears to hear and eyes to see. Of course, we have left the plane of the intellect and are drawing from the superconscious, the God within who says, "This is the way, walk in it, everything you need to know will be revealed to you. Whatever you lack will be provided for you. Thus says the Lord who makes a way in the sea and a path in the rushing waters." Do not remember the former things, nor consider the things of old. People who live in the past have cut off their contact with the wonderful now. God knows only the now. Now is the appointed time, today is the day. Many people live a life of limitation, accumulating and saving, fearing to use what they have, which brings more lack and more limitation. I give the example of a woman who lived in a small town in the countryside. She could barely see to get around. This story is good, check it out. He says, I give the example of a woman who lived in a small town in the countryside. She could barely see to get around and had very little money. A kind friend took her to an eye doctor and gave her some glasses that allowed her to see perfectly. Check this out. Sometime later, he ran into her on the street without her glasses, and he exclaimed, "Hey, where are your glasses?" The woman replied, "Well, you don't expect me to wear them out by using them every day, do you? I only wear them on Sundays." You must live in the present and be wide awake to your opportunities. That's a really good example, isn't it? I mean, he had everything there and struggled all week to see and only used them on Sundays. I remember Reverend Ike says something very similar. Hey, you have perfume, you have nice clothes. Whatever you have, use it. That's what it's for. Take advantage of it. Don't save the good stuff for special moments. You're saving the good things for when, enjoy it in the present moment, in the now. And of course, they're absolutely right. He says, you must live in the now and be fully awake to your opportunities. Behold, I will do a new thing, now it shall spring forth. Will you not know it? I will make a way in the wilderness and rivers in the desert. In other words, he's quoting the passage we opened with. This message is directed to the individual. I mean, think about your problem and know that infinite intelligence knows the way to fulfillment. I say the way because before you called, you had already been answered. The supply always precedes the demand. God is the giver and the gift, and now He creates His own amazing channels. When you have asked for the divine plan of your life to manifest, you are protected from getting things that are not in the divine plan. This is good. You may think that all your happiness depends on getting one particular thing in life, and later you praise the Lord for not having gotten it. Okay? I know of many cases, for example, when it comes to relationships, like it's a good thing it didn't go that way. It says, sometimes you have the temptation to follow your reasoning mind and argue with your intuitive nudges. Suddenly, the hand of destiny pushes you to the right place for you. Under grace, you find yourself back on the magical path. Now you are wide awake to your good. You have ears to hear your intuitive cues and eyes to see the open paths of fulfillment. The genius within me has been set free. Now I fulfill my destiny. And that's where this chapter ends. So, in this chapter, what I'm seeing, what Florence is telling us, has a lot of lessons, and it's short, 11, 12, 13 minutes? It's that you trust in the creative power in the universe within you, in God within you, in the I Am. That you trust and know that what you assume, what you imagine, has already been given to you, you have already been heard. Even before you asked for it, it had already been given to you. It's already yours. It's already there. God is the giver and the gift, it says here. And now He creates His own amazing channels. In other words, the way is already prepared. Let it come on its own. You're not questioning it. It says, but you have the temptation to follow the rational mind. Totally. That's what causes us to have those directors or those delays when we're in doubt. Because the rational mind, the egoic mind, doesn't believe it. It thinks it's not possible or goes back again to old stories, to old beliefs. Why would it work out for me now if it's always gone wrong before? Who is that? It's the old me again, the old analytical mind that says, well, that's how it's always happened before. It's going to happen the same way again, but you're making a change. You're trusting in your inner ability, in your inner power. This example with the woman and the glasses is also great. I mean, she receives the gift, she receives the blessing. She only uses them on Sundays to avoid wearing them out. What does this call us to? To live in the now. To live in the now. Enjoy the now. I'm just going to save it for when I need it. Okay. I mean, where's the trust? In the supply? I mean, filled with teaching. Do not remember the former things, nor consider the things of old. People who live in the past have cut off contact with the wonderful now. Only God knows the hour. Now is the appointed time, today. Here's another thing. Florence always says, I say, choose the affirmation that clicks with you and trust it. That gives you a sense of security. Okay, so Florence has a lot of affirmations that can help you. They're very simple. They're very easy to remember. Here on the channel, I have a lot of meditation videos by Florence, but I'll just leave you with one. When you're struggling with something, or when you have that worry or those thoughts that are clouding your mind, let them go and say, I release this burden to my inner Christ. I release this burden to the Christ that dwells within me, and you leave it there. That helps you let go of that problem or that worry, and you no longer live enslaved by your mind. So, guys and girls, I hope you enjoyed this little chapter. I think I don't have any more left from this book. If not, if there's one left, I'll make it in another video called The Inner Meaning of Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs. I'll prepare that one for another video. So think about this, analyze this, go into silence about what we learned from this chapter today. And thank you very much for being here. I send you a big, strong hug, and that's all. From Domina tu Mente con Raúl, see you in the next video program. See you soon.